All right, good morning, everybody. It's 8:45. I hope you're all doing wonderful today. I'm excited. I hope you're just as excited. Our webinar today is Membership Connections. I am Lorraine Martinez, the Membership Recruitment and Resource Committee State Chair. And I always love to start with, let me minimize this. I always love to start with quotes. So Gina Bellum says, I love those connections that make this big old world feel like a little village. And our divisions feel like a village, don't they? I do, I think so. All right, so we're gonna have a question and answer. And so if you have a question or wanna share an amazing idea, type them into the Q&A box, not the chat. They will be answered at the end, or if they're pertinent to the slide that is appearing on the screen, Carrie, our moderator, will let me know and we'll answer it then. And if you're sharing, we'll only have we'll have 15 minutes or so to do the sharing of questions. Please be prepared to unmute yourself and limit yourself to 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes max. So like I said, 15 minutes to have this part at the end of the webinar. So what does MRRC stand for? There's so many thoughts about this. One thought was that it was Membership Recruitment and Retention Committee, but actually it's Membership Recruitment and Resource. And the reason why it's Membership Recruitment and Resource is that many years ago, I don't know how many for sure, I wasn't here at the time, there was a Membership Committee and a Resource Committee. Then the board decided to combine the two. So that's why it's now called Membership Recruitment and Resource. The chair, myself, is appointed by the president for a 2-year term and can continue if the next president asks them to. And I have been asked to continue, so I'm very excited by President-elect Ron Breyer, or I guess at the end of this, he'll be president, right? The chair goes to the board meetings to share a report, but you are not a member of the board. You don't have a voice at the table. You can answer questions and you can throw in a few comments here and there, but you're really not a huge part of the conversation. It consists of 1 or 2 members from each area appointed by the area director. And this is really important. There's some areas, area 6, for example, that has no one. And some areas have 1 person and some areas have 2 people. 2 people is wonderful because if 1 person can't make the meeting or monthly meeting, then the other person can jump in and come. And so if you're interested from area 6 or area 5, contact your area director that you're interested in doing this. And you can serve for a maximum of 8 years or 4 terms. And this may change. It's the bylaws committee, I believe, is coming up with a bylaw change that would change it to 6 years. But regardless, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for people to have a voice, but more important, to listen to new ideas from people that they can take back and share with their areas. So we have a Zoom meeting once a month. We communicate with divisions in your area and attending there's 2 in-person meetings a year, in the fall and at convention. So membership, as we all know, is the key to having a wonderful and thriving association. But as you know, wanting to grow isn't the same thing as growing. So increasing member retention and reaching out to new members are all things that challenge us. And it is a challenge right now. It's a big challenge. Us baby boomers don't necessarily want to join. What the heck is that about? So growth requires plans, strategy, and action. We have to think creatively, improve communication and outreach, and create opportunities for new members to find and join us. And really, we have to find them, right? So how to get people on board with change? Throughout time, you've heard people discuss how leaders have responded for requests to change. Have you heard, we tried that before and it didn't work, or people aren't interested in trying that or trying new things? They've become common in this era when accelerated change is needed. To help bring forth change, Surround yourself with people who can help the association represent and design a better future for all members. When it feels like your leaders don't prioritize change or block innovation, it doesn't take long for people to become frustrated and disengage. The best leaders put people first and remain future focused. They teach and learn. They're open for new ideas from people. New ideas, regardless if you tried it 2 years ago, who knows? It may work now. So the membership enhancement program, our treasurer, John Guerra, came up with this idea, which is wonderful and was accepted by the board, and it's known as MEP. And it was available for all divisions to participate. No money from the divisions were needed to participate except to pay for the purchases up front, which you were reimbursed. The amount received was based on membership count as of January 31st, 2021 from Johanna, and approximately 51% of divisions participated, and the majority of those divisions are small. I heard from many of the large divisions that they had plenty of money for membership recruitment and retention, and they didn't need to apply for this extra money, which was wonderful. So the majority of ideas used for the MEP money to entice lapsed cash payers, which we all have a problem with, to change the dues deduct. Recruit retirees from surrounding districts by mailing letters or packets with incentives often, offering retirees incentives to join or change from cash to dues deduct, send senior-most members a card thanking them for longevity, purchase gift cards, offer dues rebate, purchase postcards, stamps, banners, tablecloths, etc. Thank current teachers on Day of the Teacher in May, which happens to be today, by the way, by putting a banner up across the street or a balcony like they're doing at Escondido. Add a personal message or write a card to members and recruits. So those are some of the ideas that have come up through the MEP grant. One division put a quarter-page ad in the newspaper, and I can't remember what division, but it was a beautiful ad that's in today's paper for the retirees in their area. I mean, for the educators in their area. So Personify is a group that does membership, and they work on membership, and their whole site is dedicated to membership. So this Tatiana Moran wrote 35 membership stats you must know in 2021. And the next few slides are from her article, and the website is Personify Wild Apricot. So membership growth. So the question is, what makes someone become a member? So appealing to new members is one, as we know, the major challenges we face when trying to grow. So what channels are best to reach out on? Are some organizations more likely to grow than others? What kind of technology is essential? So she found 68% of the organizations have difficulty growing membership. So if you're struggling like we are, we're not alone. And these are all kinds of organizations, nonprofits mostly. So we all know this. Referring a friend is the most effective membership growth tactic. And that's for all kinds of organizations. So the top three tactics for driving memberships are the referral from a friend, email, and our website. So these tactics are all COVID-19 safe, which is the bonus. But think about our website and how inviting it is and how easy it is to click on something and get information. That's extremely important. I know many of us in our newsletters refer our members to the website often to look at certain things. Organizations that have been in existence for more than 10 years, we saw higher levels of shrinking than younger organizations. And we know that we're losing members and longtime members because of age. 76% say that email gets the best response. Who knew? To re-engage lapsed members. Is that true for us? I believe in some instances it might be, but I believe that we're finding that a personal note, personal handwritten note, or personal contact works very well. Size does not seem to influence membership growth. Large and small groups are experiencing similar levels of growth. Targeted communications which I believe we're going to do as a organization, is a tactic to which most of the respondents attributed improved member engagement. Number 8, multi-tactic approach is important. 81% said with membership increases, we're significantly more likely to have a culture that supports innovation. So what's that mean to us? That's a question. That's something to ponder. Most commonly cited challenge is difficulties reaching potential members. And I know that is a problem for some divisions when your districts, your local districts will not give you the names of the local retirees. Second most commonly cited challenge was there's not enough time. And members who recognize their value proposition reported higher renewal rates than those whose members don't recognize the value. 78% of associations have seen a renewal rate increase in the past year, have a tactical plan to increase engagement. MEP is ours. Growth is our number one goal, and we know that, we all know that. It fuels membership-based organizations, powering us with fresh, motivated members willing to volunteer and spread the word, money to spend on tools and initiatives that benefit our mission, publicity, bringing attention to the organization and its cause, and that's really important. CalRTA is not a recognizable term, and our logo is not recognizable in some areas of the states. Sonoma County is one example. Publicity is important, and clout to meaningfully engage with other organizations and government. We have the clout. We have a wonderful legislative arm of our organization. So here's the top 3 tactics: video, online advertising, and door-to-door recruitment. And no, not really door-to-door, but contacting retirees individually. So the good news is we're doing most of these things. If you want to be a leader, you need to push your organization to try more tactics and adopt those that resonate with your members, and optimize how to use these tactics to get more out of them. So last thoughts by Tatiana are: number 1, lean into established digital channels, your email list and website, and don't focus on as much on social media. This is in her opinion. The best way to grow membership is with your existing members by having a refer a friend plan in place. To be a leader takes a willingness to try more tactics, and then the dedication to optimize the ones that work. Try more tactics, try different things, and that is what the MEP grant is for, to encourage you to do just that. So this was interesting. Older organizations had the greatest difficulty growing membership. And I thought that was us. So how long your organization had been in existence played a major role. Mature organizations saw higher levels of shrinking, and we have seen that, as well as the lowest levels of double-digit growth. The finding was independent of size, so it didn't matter if their organization had 50 members or 5,000. Being around longer, we were just less likely to grow. So what does this mean? Several possibilities from older organizations having difficulty connecting their mission with younger members. We need to diversify tactics that we use to connect with more potential members. So that's something to really, really think about. And that's what I love about our area meetings with the monthly MRRC meetings, is that we share a lot of everything that's happening in our divisions, so that other divisions throughout the state can be shared with them. So Sarah Sladek came up with some outdated membership strategies, and these aren't God's words. I mean, this isn't not the final word in all this, but I love to research on the internet and find out different things about membership. And she also has a email that goes out, this person, I forget the name of her organization, but very, very good ideas by Sarah. So these are common traits with organizations that have possible outdated thinking and strategies. We've struggled to engage younger members, and there are pressing concerns about the aging membership base. That is true. A large percentage of our revenue and membership engagement strategy focuses resources on events. We do that with our pre-retirement events, and that's not to say it's a bad thing, but that's what she's saying. Our board of directors does not represent the diverse membership community your organization represents. When you look at your board, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and those people, I mean, you have to look at this as what I'm referring from her. This is not my personal opinion, but does it represent our membership? I don't know. That's up for you to answer. The leadership roles are primarily reserved for those with considerable experience and credentials. Are we an organization that tries to encourage new voices to the table? I don't know. That's something we have to answer as a group. Value proposition is unclear, not relevant, and doesn't provide the necessary value or return on investment. When new retirees are looking at this, what are they going to get out of this for putting in their money and for some of them their time? The mission isn't considered a must-have or critical to the betterment of an important purpose, cause, or call to action. Our mission, our main bait, so to speak, our main attractiveness is our willingness and to repeal the WEP GPO. That applies to so many of our educators. And I think that is our best selling point. So, okay. Oh, I just got, okay. So these are traits that are common in associations and membership organizations that are operating with the next gen thinking and strategy. So looking to think about our boomers, our baby boomers, and our millennials. We become member-centric, responsive to the needs of all members, and prioritize member benefits and experiences. We have systems in place to actively engage participation of new people, and we cultivate new ideas. The decision makers feature a diverse cross section of people representing different skill sets, backgrounds, and experiences. Now you may be saying, well, that's all well and good, but they don't want to step up. So that's a problem, I know. A global and collaborative approach where cognitive diversity is leveraged to innovate and guide your organization forward. We're focused on prioritizing members and has systems in place to regularly connect, gather, and review membership value with members. And for all of us, that is our luncheons and social events and convention and fall leadership workshops that our areas have. We describe, the members describe membership as valuable, relevant, necessary, and providing a high return on investment. Do they feel CalRTA is relevant, valuable, and necessary? Well, if they are caught up in the WEP GPO fiasco, then that is a yes. So here we are at this part. Oh, actually, we have quite a bit of time. Thoughts or questions? So I see there's.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Quite a bit of questions. Do you want me to read them to you?
Actually, I probably can.
Okay, great.
I can read them. So do you see this on the screen or no? The questions?
No, I just,
okay. No, I just meant that the general group.
Nope.
Okay, so one question, considered a reduced dues amount for those of us that have been adjuncts or part-time community college instructors. Our pensions, in my case, is 1/4 that of a full-time instructor's pension. Okay, so that is a wonderful question, and I believe that it was important to bring that to the area director so they can bring it to the board. I know that, for example, in some divisions, they are offering to help support members who are having a difficult time coming up with the full amount of the dues that are necessary for CalRTA. So definitely bring that question to your area director. because it's a board decision and it'd have to be a board discussion. Terry, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Terry Garretts, you raised your hand. Okay, if they unmute themselves, can I hear them?
Yeah, in our division, I just brought it up to the board. And then when I was lucky when I was sending out a membership survey to redo the directory, and I asked people to just kind of, what they want to do. A couple people said, well, I can't do anything, but here's some money. And then I asked them if it was okay if we could set up a special fund. And there actually is a division in our area that's wealthy enough that they have an emergency fund that helps with even more things like the CalRTA does. They helped some people when they got the audit of their CalSTRS pension and helped them out. Because we have several people in my division living under $1,000 a month. I don't know how they do it in San Francisco Bay Area.
All right, thank you, Terry. And Sandy had her hand raised. Dr. Sandy, I'm sorry, I didn't see your last name. Do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself? And did you have something to offer to this question?
I don't know how I got my hand raised, but
Okay. That's okay.
I will lower
Nice to
it. I
meet ya.
apologize.
Okay, and then so Carolyn, I hope that answers a bit of your question. The second question was recruiting idea. Okay, folks, here's our first idea. Contact people that are still years away from retiring, both to let them know what is ahead of them, and also to have them help in campaigns such as abolishing the weapon GPO. Without younger people coming in, the organization withers away. And one idea to piggyback on that is, what about having a meeting with younger teachers just entering the profession to give them advice, I guess is a word, but it would be, of course, advice that's not backed by fact, but to let them know, for example, if you put $50 away this month, each month, you're going to have, it'll be easier in retirement, just to let them know what retirement is about. Because for so many of them, it's like years away and they're like, I can't think about retirement, I'm just starting. But also to let them know that CalRTA is there to help them. If they need help with anything, we are retired, and our division, any division probably has people that are willing to help them with special projects, etc. So that's true, Carolyn. If without younger people coming in, the organization is getting smaller. What are restrictions to sending joining material to folks who have not offered their emails to us? Are there still fines for this kind of recruitment? According to Johanna, yes. And she has the restrictions. I guess what it is, if they don't give their email to us, if they don't say you can use my email or you can send me things, then you're not supposed to send them recruiting materials. And I'm not going to say that is the solid truth, Michael, but Johanna has that sheet of paper. And if you want to ask her, I will, you know what, I'm going to ask her to send it to me, and I will share it with the area in my next MRRC newsletter. So let me make a note of that, joining materials. Good question, because it's so hard to remember all these rules and regulations. Remember materials sent to emails. Okay, Mary Dixon. Oh, she's asking if I'm going to remain chair of MRRC if I'm elected as secretary. Yes. The cool thing about being secretary is that your job is pretty much on the board. So yes, I've been asked to remain chair. Thank you so much, Mary. Michael, again, what pamphlets or links to joining materials are restricted to initial outreach, especially via email? There are no restrictions, Michael. It's a matter of what your division feels is important for your area. I strongly encourage the 17 tips for retirement brochure. One thing you need to know, if you're sending anything out via snail mail, you need to ask Johanna for electronic, electronic version of it, and you have to make your own copies of anything that you want to send out via snail mail. But personally, I would not bombard people with a lot. When we're doing our MEP program, we are doing a cover letter by the co-presidents, and we are including our personal Sonoma County Division 39 brochure, and the one document that tells about the WEP GPO, and another document from EJS Services, the insurance company. Ernie at EJS is more. Here's a plug for Ernie. If you call him and say you need 100 pens for a pre-retirement workshop, or 100 brochures about what his company offers, or if you need some eyeglass wipes or anything else, he's more than happy to send them to you for your division for giveaways or whatever you might need them for. So that's Ernie at EJS Services, and his number is readily available. But please reach out to him. He wants to help CalRTA. He's been a long time sponsor. Hope that answers your question. Okay, Christy Betts, go ahead. You have your hand raised. Unmute yourself. Christy? Okay, we'll go on till we hear her. And Sandy, you had your hand raised again. Was that to actually say something this time? If so, unmute yourself and join in.
Yes, I was just going to say that as when I was active, prior to retirement, I was chair of United Teachers Los Angeles's pre-retirement issues committee. And we held 2 pre-retirement conferences. And then I established financial literacy conferences so that our members were able to understand how to save, not to get caught up in high cost products, and to have extra money at retirement. So I think it's very, very important. And we added financial literacy so that we could give them hours to attend and some suggestions for what they could do in the classroom.
Financial literacy, what an amazing name. How perfect is that? Okay, folks, financial literacy, we might be reaching out to you, Sandy, to find out more information about that, okay?
Yes,
Awesome.
thank you.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love that term. Okay, why do older organizations, Christy, go ahead if you can unmute yourself, go ahead. Christy? Okay, we're gonna go on. Why do older organizations have problems? Well, for us, it's twofold. One is that our oldest members are passing, which is to be expected in an organization like this. And but I am amazed how many. It's so fun to talk to our oldest members. I love it. And then the other part of it is that the baby boomers are hesitant to join for whatever reason. We don't have an exact reason. We don't have an exact cause. So the other part of her question is, what I have seen is officers who do not want to give up their positions in order to make room for younger people to become officers. That is a dilemma. That is a dilemma. And that's part of the reason why there are term limits on the state board. But as far as in divisions, that is really a tough one. That is a tough one because you don't want to, it's hard to gracefully ask somebody to who has served a long time in one position to ask them to become make it a co-position, or to possibly make whatever term they're in their last one so somebody else can do it. Though I am hearing that this is not a problem in division levels. I mean, this is a huge problem at division levels, that there's nobody willing to step up to take those positions. So I guess it depends on your division and where you're at, and the the connection that your members and your division have to the board and sharing opportunities to become leaders. What can we do to attract members who are paraprofessionals and administrators? Thanks, Linda. That's a great question. We do have former administrators as members. That's the wonderful thing about us. CTA retired is pretty much educators and para-educators are CTA. They use CTA as their union. But there was a letter put out by one of Terry Garrett's in Area 4 divisions that she shared about talking to classified or paraprofessionals and asking them to join the organization because we are open to everyone. And I've talked before to some of our administrators who are members of AXA retired. And I think that part of it is that we need to make sure that we are visible at their events, at any area events that happen. So if you know of a retired AXA group in your area, close to your division, why not ask to go talk for a few minutes? They have the WEP GPO problem just like we do, and take a few treats. So thank you, Linda. That's a great question. Lori Osborne, like to hear more ways to retain members. Well, I think, Lori, but with the with the MEP program, the majority of divisions are trying incentives, paying, for example, for paying half of their first year dues, paying all of their first year dues. They're paying all, if they switch from cash to dues deduct, they're paying for giving them a rebate. They're offering them gift cards. They're doing a one-on-one campaign where they're actually contacting them to, and the other thing is, have you talked to them to find out why they're leaving? I had one gentleman contact me and say that he thought that we had sent him a personal note and he was very grateful for that, but he explained why he had to leave as a member. And I was so touched that he took the time to do that. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe we need to call some of these people and find out why they're leaving. Marcos Contreras, raise your hand. Go ahead, unmute yourself, Marcos, and let us know what you have to say. Marcos? Okay. You know what this feels like? It feels like you're a disc jockey at a radio station. Just
okay,
saying.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, Marcos. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to suggest that perhaps we need to make an effort to contact more community colleges. I think community colleges members, I'm from community college, and I think that I have yet need to find more community college members of Cal Rita, and everywhere I go to group meetings or conventions or meeting with other groups, I have difficulty finding community college retirees. And I don't know if we're doing a campaign recruiting or try to, get people from community colleges.
Yes, let me tell you, for example, we got the names, I believe, from Johanna of the community college, the local community college retirees, and we are going to be contacting them through our MEP campaign. So there is a way to get those names. And if Johanna, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I believe that's where we got the names. So we do, my co-president is a community college member, and so she has a little bit of contact with them too. Yeah, it's not easy to get those names, and it's not easy to necessarily contact them. But another idea, just like if you can go to one of their assemblies or whatever they call them, their meetings, if you have an in with somebody, you can go for, make a couple minute presentation, leave some pamphlets, hand pamphlets out. That's one of the best ways, of course, person to person. Okay, Sam Frankel, you had your hand raised. unmute yourself and answer, and then Terry Garrett's. Sam? Sam, are you there? Okay, Terry? Terry?
Yes, I was going to say, one of the things you were talking about partnering with other organizations, and we have a member in our division who's very active in CoCal, which is a community college organization, and he puts out like a reading list and has published things. And I've been able to work with him and get community college members. Plus, I used to go around with Bonnie Siddell and present on WEP GPO at the community colleges. And that was the other way that we got community college members.
That's a great idea, Terry. Ask to go to their one of their association meetings and present on the WEP GPO because it affects them also. That's a really great way to get.
It affects half of them. They get to choose whether they want to go with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. But again, those that it does affect, that would be a great presentation. And then we had a Lily. Lily, I didn't get your last name. Was it Cooper?
Cooper.
Okay, there you go. Hi, Lily.
Hi. I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about how to attract members.
Yes.
I think it's really important to emphasize our broader mission. It's not just WEP GPO, and WEP GPO can be a turnoff for people initially if they don't really understand it or think it's relevant to their lives, but it's especially a turnoff when they realize that we've been working on it for decades. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere, but there are what I have found, I've been involved since about 2007, so I've been around a long time. And I found that as I go through life, I go through different stages of interest. And when my grandchildren were younger, I was practically obsessed with public education. And as I grew older, into my 70s and close to my 80s now, I find that the healthcare issues are very important to me. And you know, and when I was on the GRC committee, we were able to have 2 legislative analysts, and one was dedicated to healthcare issues, particularly long-term care and nursing care and retirement homes and so on. So I think we need to think about how we evolve through these different periods of our life and what interests us at that time.
Great comment.
And the other thing is, if you look, it's not real clear in the current mission, at least on the pages that I saw for this convention, but I see them as 3 categories. Number 1 is pensions, and that includes the CalSTRS pension, but it also includes the WEP GPO issues and so on. And 2, healthcare, and that includes Medicare, Medicaid, the Covered California, and so on. And a lot of that has been threatened over the last several years. And 3rd, public education. And if we could focus on those 3 arenas and try to get people involved depending on what they're particularly interested in, that might help.
Thank you, Lily. That was very astute comments. I appreciate that. Good. Thank you so much. Yeah, those good points. And then Sam, Frankel, did you ever
Am I
connect?
unmuted now?
Okay, can you talk a little louder?
Is this better?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Sam.
Couple of things. One, I put into chat and question and answer very early on how to unmute because I didn't see anything on here.
Oh, okay.
So we need to pay more attention to those things. At the
Thank
very
you.
beginning, you said something about MRC being resource, not retention.
Right.
I'd like you to elaborate on that because I'm not sure what the resources are you're talking about.
Thank you. So there used to be, like I said, a resource committee, and there is a document called a resource handbook. And in that handbook, it explains, it gives a ton of resources that members can type into their Google and find out information about all kinds of interests and all kinds of websites that are out there. So currently the MRRC committee is working on updating that because it hadn't been looked at for over 5 years to make sure the website links are still current. So some of them would be like HipCap, Medi-Cal, Medicare, those things that are important issues for members to find out more information. One's part of it's like what to do during an earthquake, what to do during a disaster, the fact that CalRTA has money available for members to borrow if needed after a disaster. So that's the resource part of it. We haven't really emphasized it as much because it's not something that is so immediately needed, but it is something that the committee is looking at to make sure that the resources we put out there for people to check out are valid and current. And I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we had Mary Dixon. Go ahead, Mary. Oh, and somebody else just raised their hand. I didn't catch the name, sorry. So
Lorraine, we're at 27 after the hour.
thank you.
Yep.
Mary, are you there? Okay, and then there was somebody who raised their hand and I didn't get your name. I'm so sorry. So if you raise your hand, and I have Donna Clark and Enid and Mary Dixon, if that's not you, go ahead and speak now.
My name is Sandy Casper.
That's it. That's it. Okay.
Okay, I teach in Hemet, or I taught in Hemet. My daughter teaches homeschool. She has deductions to STRS. What are we doing to engage homeschool teachers?
Actually, that is a good question because I was not aware that homeschool teachers, what pension, if they had a pension program and what it was. So I am going to write that down and we will investigate that.
Can I get a personal reply back to that, Lorraine?
Yes, and tell me your name again.
Sandy Casper, Kasper.
I would be happy to include you on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Enid? Did you unmute yourself? I hear something. Enid?
We need to
All right.
tell people how to unmute.
Pardon?
We need to tell people how to unmute because I find
Oh, well, on the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a little microphone.
no, there's not.
Oh, there's not on yours. See, this is, okay, well, thank you, Sam, because we didn't go through this. Carrie, can you help?
Well, what happens is when you raise your hand and you call on them on my screen, a little box comes up that says click unmute.
Oh my goodness, a lot of you are raising your hands now. Okay. The problem with raising your hands is that it does not keep your name up. Enid, go ahead.
I just wanted to know how to unmute, and that actually worked.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Donna Clark.
Yes, what are the initials for AXA?
Oh, it's administrator or something. I don't know if, oh, Linda Frost probably knows. Linda, can you tell us? Linda?
Press the space bar down and you can unmute yourself temporarily. Press and hold space bar.
Oh, Christy. Okay, Linda's a administrator, so she'll, if she can get that done. Linda, just pop in. John Delgado, have you spoken yet? Pat G? Either of you?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, John, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, it's a lot of information that you're disseminating on today's section. Can that be put into your committee meeting and sent out to the local divisions
The information that was shared?
that you're providing now this morning?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. This, just so you know, this is being recorded and it will be up on the website. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take to do that. As well as there's a handout that you're able to print out that has all the slide information on it.
Okay, but again, seems like CalRTA is dumping everything else to the divisions. Print this, print that, print all the other things. I just finished getting a review of the handbook for the treasurer.
Uh-huh.
It's not the handbook that I have, but it's an update. So somehow CalRTA needs to communicate the current information that is needed for us to operate. I'm retiring from a treasurer's position in Division 66. Now, if you can send that information to Terry Berry, who is our president for the last 8 years, we'd appreciate it, because there are some pertinent information that we're working on and trying to get new members. Members in our division is very difficult because the offices in our division are from out of the area. So we don't have personal contact with Morgan Hill Unified or Gilroy Unified or any other areas in the community. So we have very limited approaches to contacting. We had the best activity when we were able to provide a STIRS workshop for teachers that were about to retire. We had about 30 people there. And out of the 30 people, we unfortunately was not able to hold on. We're the smallest division in the whole state.
Okay.
So information you're being received now would be very crucial, because I only have a few more months before I go on.
Okay, so you would like CalRTA to communicate updated information with the divisions. Is that what I'm getting from it?
Yes.
Okay.
You can send it to the president. Terry Berry has been very good, because any information for director for Area 5 has always been disseminated back to the officers that's currently on.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, so that, and then we want the homeschool educators contacted. And Lily talked about the emphasizing the current mission, the 3 parts of it. Let's see, so that was John. Pat GD. Pat GD. Are you there?
Lorraine,
Yes.
this is Mary Dixon.
Hi, Mary.
I just figured out that, yeah, by raising my hand, it does allow me to unmute. It asks you. So for those of us that have been trying to figure out how to unmute. A question came up earlier in the chat from Evie Volante, who is a friend of mine. And since she hasn't asked it, I'm going to ask. Could the state level put an ad in local newspapers just before school closes so retirees can contact local divisions? It's so expensive to put even a 1/8 of a page ad in the local paper. And, you know, CalRTA does a good job of advertising on Facebook, but I think we need to see CalRTA advertising in local papers. And so what I've been doing is sending it to, in our area, it's a coastlines. It's kind of a place where they advertise everything. And then my other comment is your resources letter about going to superintendents, I used this year, and out of the 7, I think it is, districts, we've already gotten 4 back with names of people retiring. So I just want to thank you for that.
And what Mary's referring to is that CalRTA has 2 letters because the districts are required, if you ask for the names of retirees, they are required to give those to you. If you're getting refused, CalRTA does have 2 letters, one that's nice and one that's not, that's a little more, come on, folks, give me those names. And those are available on the website, and they're right there on the membership page. and it says letters to districts. So those are available if you're having a hard time getting those names. And they're both from Angelique, I believe. Okay, let's see. Betty, I had a Betty.
Lorraine, it's 35 past the hour. We need to start wrapping up. So maybe 3 more questions.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go. Okay. Have any of the divisions conducted Zoom meetings of their new members asking what they want out of CalRTA? So that's something that for you to answer within your divisions. Just a Zoom or have a meeting. Have you met? One thing that I've suggested in before my MRC Connections newsletter is that have you invited them out for coffee? I mean, now that we can meet and coffee safely outside, have you invited some of your new members out, say four of them with a board member, just to find out more about them? It would be easy enough to do. So much contact to schools and districts is blocked. So Michael, I did answer that. Those 2 letters you can send to the superintendents. Let's see. A suggestion, contact local chapters of CTA, offer to speak at their monthly meeting, sponsor treats at a meeting or during Teacher Appreciation Week. Be visible and establish a partnership with potential members so the transition to CalRTA is seamless. There are some friendly chapters of CTA in Sonoma County. They're not so friendly. So if you have a friendly chapter, and I know some divisions are able to meet at the CTA building, that is awesome, because we are really about it's to have a shared connection is wonderful if that's able. Could we really use a Facebook blurb for recruitment that we could share to our Facebook connections? Needs to include who to contact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these questions and I'm going to go ahead and answer them, and comments and things, and I'm going to share those. All right. I just want to let you know, because we're going to need to close up here. So
Sounds good.
So oh, so AXA, did we ever find, is there anybody that can tell us what AXA means? No, yes. Okay.
I thought it was Association of California School Administrators.
Okay, that sounds good.
That sound right?
All right. It's ACSA. Okay. All righty. Well, this has been amazing. I want to thank you all for coming. I hope that it's been helpful. Gosh almighty, we almost need another session after this just to talk. You know, I think that would have been really, now looking at it, right? And it's just so weird talking to people that you don't see. Like I said, it's kind of like being a radio disc jockey for the day. So we're CalRTA closing out now. So anyways, thank you so much for attending. You all are amazing leaders. I salute each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you, because I know this job is not easy at times, but the joy that we have when meeting with each other, I believe, is what makes me continue on. So have a wonderful rest of the convention, and I'll probably see some of you at the later session that I'm sharing with Pat. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lorraine.
Lorraine. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're
Thank
all
you.
wonderful.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Carrie, can I copy and paste these questions and things?
Yes.
How do I do that?
Let's see here.
How do I get to the next session? Do I just leave?
Yes.
You wanna leave this webinar and then go back to your conference site.
Thank you.
You're welcome, hon.
Lorraine, when will your video be available?
When will I be? Oh,
Your video, the presentation will be on a video. When would it
oh,
be?
it's 11. Oh, it's good. The video, I don't know the exact, I can't, and John, I don't know I'm sure it's going to be next week sometime.
Okay, thanks.
They're pretty good. Debbie, I'll find out and let you all know, or I'll ask. Thank you.
Thank you.